Why is Barry going off like this? Actually gonna get himself killed. He's probably not gonna die, but still, why is he going off like that? That's absurd, man. The mic is speaking. I need to speak a little bit slower, quieter, I suppose I should say. I'm basing them, I say, on the fact that I've already been trying to accomplish the impossible for the better part of my life, and unlike you, I've never even thought about giving up. I mean, look at me, damn it. Look at where I am. Who would be stupid or stubborn enough to go so far just for the sake of some childhood dream? And yet here I am. I pause for a few seconds before I continue, but I keep looking Aiden straight in the eyes during this time. I don't care about human nature. I say, after a while, after seeing how the people here are perfectly okay with other people, human beings being treated like cattle, and after seeing how much they consider people dying in an arena to be a form of entertainment, I think I have seen enough to know that things here need to change. And if you're no longer going to do it, then I will. I don't care if I have the power to do it or not. I will do it, and I'm going to do everything you couldn't do, despite your immense power, that I'm going to come back and shove it all in your face. Why is he going off? I have no clue. While I'm talking, some of the anger has slowly vanished from Aiden's eyes, and he now looks a bit calmer than before. Also, he's been stretching his right hand to the point ever. He's been stretching his right arm to the side every once in a while, ever since he stopped in front of me, but I have no idea for what reason. One of the benefits of being very good at reading auras, Aiden said, is that you can tell at every point during a conversation, not only if a person is lying, but also if they're hesitating in some way from the fluctuations in their aura. The fact that you are neither lying nor being hesitant at any point during your speech is now something that I find truly fascinating. Aiden takes a few moments to consider his next words while he stretches his right arm to the side once more. Here's what we are going to do, he says, as he closes his eyes once again. He slowly starts to walk. I don't know why am I imagining his eyes are like pitch black or something, even though he never mentioned anything of that sort. I'm just imagining it that way. He slowly starts to walk back and forth over a distance of few feet. Whether you want to or not, this tournament is going to require you to visit a certain number of cities. You already know that you'll be visiting Galamir, and since you have met Melindra, I'm going to assume that you will also be visiting Ollinder soon enough. There may also be other cities. Depending on what the tournament's organizers prepare for the next rounds, I'm going to be monitoring your activities in these cities from afar to see how much you can manage to change in the short time you will have at your disposal. If you will stay true to your words from earlier, you will indeed make radical changes through your own power, then I will personally give you the power required to stop the calamity that is threatening these cities, and afterwards I'll leave you to shape the fate of these kingdoms in whatever way you see fit. If this unlikely scenario truly comes to pass, then I will... By the gods, I shout, interrupting him. Araka was right. I can't believe it. You really are cheating. Wait, what? I will leave you to shape the fate of these kingdoms in whatever way you see fit. If this unlikely scenario... Oh, so he's just explaining what he's going to be doing. And he's like, you really are cheating. I beg your pardon, Aiden says. I just realized why you've been stretching your right arm every so often since you cast the time freezing spell, I say. And also why you've been walking back and forth for the past 30 seconds. It's because of the warning message, isn't it? I also had access to that same time freezing spell back when you powered up my stat device, but still remember how it works. You're not allowed to move more than a few feet from your original position, so if any part of your body goes over a certain boundary, you're going to get a warning message telling you that if you don't retreat in the next 10 seconds, your spell will be cancelled. What makes you think that triggering this warning helps me in any way? Aiden asked me. It helps you, I say, because whoever designed the spell never bothered to take the actual warnings into account when calculating the duration. As long as you don't go too far beyond the boundary and you retreat every tenth of a second, you retreat at the very end of the 10 seconds countdown, you can practically add 10 more seconds to the duration of the spell every time you do it. And since the time limit of the spell has been added by design due to safety reasons, not due to technical limitations, you could probably lengthen the duration of the spell almost indefinitely, and if you're confident enough that you can keep it under control. So that's what Araka and Tyra had been talking about all this time, and they said that you were using tricks. It's not that you don't need to obey the laws of magic because you're too powerful. You're just taking advantage of the technicalities to get around the rules. You make it seem as if it's all thanks to your power. It's all thanks to your power all along. You're using loopholes. Well, I do commend you for figuring this out by yourself, Aiden says. I really don't see how this would possibly help you with. It was the same with Darren, wasn't it? I say. The time when you put him to sleep despite all his protection were also because you exploited some technicality, not because your spell ignored all the laws of magic. Oh, Aiden says while raising his eyebrows with his eyes closed. One technicality might that be? After pausing for a few seconds to think, the answer suddenly came to me as if, how intelligent is he? Holy shit! I mean, I know he is like smart, but I didn't think he was this intelligent. It goes to show that he knows a lot about magic because he studied a lot about it. He didn't just come to this tournament. It was still stupid to come to this tournament, but it wasn't like completely out of the way work. After woodwork, not way work. After pausing for a few seconds to think, the answer suddenly came to me as if it were as clear as the light of the day. Protection overload, I say, as I see Aiden's expression change a bit, even with his eyes closed. That's it, isn't it? I heard that this only happens to very skilled mages that go overboard with casting protection on themselves, without taking into account that some of these spells might actually do more harm than good, because they are in conflict with each other. If you're not careful, you could end up generating small openings in your defenses that could easily be exploited by someone that is skilled in reading the flow of auras. I could totally see Darren making a mistake like this. Extraordinary, Aiden says with a smile back on his face. I've used that trick countless times against many formidable foes in the past, yet no one managed to figure out until now. However, I still do not see how this would help you and your group if you were ever to fight me seriously. Leaving aside the fact that I've had hundreds of years to learn these technicalities, even if you manage to learn them all, my level of magical power still dwarfs that of most beings on this island, with very few exceptions. Oh, there are exceptions. I would say that you are not in a better situation now than you were when you first met me on the second day of the tournament. Yes, I am, I say, because now I know that you're not invincible. If you needed to learn all these tricks, that means that your power alone was not enough to help you win all your battles. It means that you have weaknesses, and if you have weaknesses, you can be defeated. Aiden laughs. So you aim not only to achieve what I couldn't accomplish in a lifetime, he says, but also to actually eventually defeat me in actual battle. And here I was thinking that I couldn't have anything interesting to do until the end of the tournament. He pauses. Very well, Aiden says. In that case, I'll be looking forward to your progress, and I will also be monitoring your activity within the series, as I said earlier. Now then, would you happen to have any more questions before I take my leave? Just one, I say. What is the Magium? Aiden says. You weren't seriously expecting to get an answer to that question so easily, were you? He says. No, I say, but it was worth a shot. Aiden gives one last smile with his eyes closed, and he teleports out of my sight. As soon as he disappears, the time freezing spell gets cancelled, and my friends begin to look around them, confused, trying to figure out where Aiden went. So Aiden is gone, Darren says after a while, and Barry is the only one that doesn't seem surprised by the sudden turn of events. Is there anything that you might want to tell us, Barry? Darren, I say. I'm certain that you have many questions, and I'll be sure to answer them in a bit. First, I need you to do something for me. What's that? Pull out a pen and paper from your backpack, I say, and write all of the protection spell that you cast on yourself on your second day in Varathia. We got work to do. Fucking hell, Barry's gonna go ham in the next chapter, man. This is gonna be awesome. Holy shit. I mean, it makes sense, right? Basically what this is happening is that it's not like armor. You wear a bulletproof vest. There's like the polymer or whatever. There's like Kevlar, and then there's like metal plates on the way, but they're all like perfectly crafted stuff that has been crafted separately. And if they were all crafted by the same person on themselves, yeah, I can see, and especially with magic, those are stuff in the Kevlar, in the fucking body armor, is like physical stuff. This is magic stuff, so obviously there's going to be like some small little details, small like holes left in the armor somewhere if you're crafting all of them yourself. And if you have like 10 layers of them, you already have to deal with the magic drain from them, so I'm guessing you're gonna end up with some like inconsistencies in the flow of magic. Let's say like the magic flows from the person, right? Let's say. So obviously the 10th layer would be the weakest one, and the first layer would be the strongest one, but somewhere in there like the flow of magic may not be perfect, which might end up causing like chinks in the armor, like somewhere like a little hole somewhere pops up and it goes away and then pops up somewhere else, something like that. Holy shit, that's awesome. Betty, how long are you planning to stare at that piece of paper? Darren says, I told you that there are no conflict between my protection spells. No matter how many times you check, you can't find something that is not there. I ignored Darren. I continued to look at the piece of paper lying on the ground in front of me while I cross-checked the information on it with what I've written in my notebook. The paper has all the Darren's protection written on it, and I was able to find detailed information for most of these spells in my notebook, but I still haven't managed to find the loophole that Aiden used to put Darren to sleep. Hardrick is also sitting on the ground beside me, looking at the list of spells, throwing wild guesses, but it's clear that he doesn't really know enough about white magic to be able to make a reasonable assessment. Flower has also tried to look at the paper at my notebook a few times, but she eventually gave up because saying that it was causing her a headache. Iluna, on the other hand, announced from the very beginning that she wouldn't participate in a brainstorming session because her knowledge of White's made protection spells was too limited to be able to contribute in any meaningful way. Hey, Hardrick tells me, doesn't this protection from illusions have a similar chant to the protection from sleep over there? Couldn't that's what have caused the conflict? No, I say. There are plenty of spells with similar sounding chanting, and that's never caused a conflict as far as I know. It has to be something else, something obvious I'm missing. I'm going to start again from the beginning to see if I didn't skip on important details somewhere on the somewhere or something. Oh, come on, Darren says, exasperated. And it crossed your mind that maybe Aiden was just pulling your leg there? Why would he even tell you his weakness? What possible reason could he have to do such a thing? Aren't you the one who told me your greatest weakness a few minutes after we met? I asked him while raising an eyebrow. Yeah, but that's different, Darren says. Anyone could tell that my shield spell is weak against enchanted weapons after seeing me fight for a while. Wait, you were weak against enchanted weapons? Hardrick says. Okay, Darren says. No, I'm serious, Hardrick says. I never noticed. But why enchanted weapons specifically? Couldn't the shielding spell automatically defend you from most types of damage? And what, are you cursed or something? And besides, why would it even matter? The shield spell is just a spell that they teach to beginner mages. Nobody really uses it in actual combat. It consumes too much energy and it barely even absorbs enough damage to prevent you from dying most of the time. The protection against specific types of damage would be much more effective now that I've really bothered to learn any of those, what with my very durable giant skin and all.